realize that trust is going to grow over time. As people come into your ecosystem, as they come in contact with your brand, this trust is going to grow over time. Now, I did not make up this graphic. In fact, I don't even know where it came from. This is very common in floating ground. For our purposes, though, notice this, like time grows with consistency. So a lot of time, no consistency, we're really not going to see an elevation here. Or we can be consistent, but if there's no time, like we're just consistent and they're still right here. So we've got to really grow this. So here's what we do. Trust just goes up by delivering value over time. And so as we continue delivering value, at some point, there's a tipping point where they're ready to make a purchase with you, where buying something that you have is the logical next step. And generally, it takes a little bit more time if it's a higher ticket item. Not always, but generally it does. So trust goes up as you consistently deliver the value over time. Here's the other thing. Not only does the trust grow, but the relationship grows deeper. So if you take that graphic, the time over trust, and you just flip it, it's going to start looking a lot like your funnel that you're going to develop over the next few lessons here. So again, the time, the consistency, it's not that it just grows up, it also goes deeper because the relationship grows deeper. And that leads me to this. Each form of content that you share with your message, each form is going to take people deeper and it's going to pull them closer. And I'm going to show you a graphic of a funnel in just a second that's going to maybe answer that or help you illustrate that. So the early parts of the funnel, here's what you're going to see. There's a lower cost, there's more people, there's less access to you. Again, the early parts of the funnel that you're developing, your whole ecosystem of all of the stuff that you're going to create, whether it's a blog, it's a podcast, it's a book, it's a course, it's coaching. The early parts of the funnel, lower cost, more people, less access to you. Let me show you what that looks like. So the early parts of the funnel up here, books, not a high cost. So I told you the example, I was making $6 a book, friend of mine making 50 cents a book. Lots of people can afford that book. Not as many people can afford that course that's going to cost $200. Not as many people can afford that membership or will choose to afford that membership. If it's a higher cost than that course, these can be up or down depending on how much. Not as many people are going to afford the one-to-one coaching. So again, lower cost up here at the top, more people, less access to you. So over time, what you'll see is initially you may spend a lot of time up here with a lot of people, but as you grow this thing, you're going to be spending more so of your time down here. Okay? Get the idea there? Now, this is a graphic that you'll see all throughout the book, all throughout the Amplify materials. We're going to develop it more. Here's what I do want to point out to you. Blogs, podcasts, social media, all of that really is free. So those are things you're not making money off of. Those are part of your brand. But at some point, you got to get the opt-in and you got to get people into this funnel. The funnel is really right here. It exists inside your website. Okay, so the funnel is not your website. It exists inside the website. The mistake that a lot of times I think we make is we think people are deeper in the funnel they are just because they're on our email list. Unless they're actually doing something and going deeper and making a purchase and taking action, they're just kind of sitting up here on the rim of this thing. And so we don't want to make a mistake of thinking they're lower and deeper than they are, that they get more access to you than they should. Other things down here at the bottom might include mastermind, keynotes, consulting. That's where you would have lots of access, higher cost. Let me show you this. The latter parts of the funnel, that's where we have the higher cost. That's where we have less people. That's where they have more access to you. Okay, so the early parts of the funnel, it's just the opposite, lower cost, that's books. More people can afford a book, okay? Less access when it's a book, but they get deeper in the funnel, higher cost, less people, more access to you, the expert. Let me show you an overhead view of the funnel. This is the same thing, but notice how we're going deeper. They're also kind of coming in more at the core. So there's like a tighter relationship there. So you can kind of visualize it in that same way as it all fits together. So on the outside, books, okay, lots of people, courses, okay, that can be automated, can be completely digitized, not as many people as a book. Memberships and coaching, closer into you. Others start doing some keynotes and consulting, that's much deeper. Less people there, more access to you, higher cost. And again, notice the things that we end up getting tripped up on and spend the most of our time on, blogs, podcasts, social media, all important, but those don't even exist inside the funnel. These aren't necessarily monetized. The goal of these is to use these to drive people to an opt-in so that we can monetize all of the things that are over here.